Bachelor Pad Economics is the financial advice Bible for men. From dating, to what to major in, to purchasing a home, to children and wife training, Bachelor Pad Economics is the wisdom you wish the father you never had gave you. A link is in the description.
All right, gentlemen, Terrence Popp, Ridiculous.com, and Bad Pop showed up, so guess what? I got bad news for you. While you're watching, you'll notice I have a beer and a shot. You might want to pause it right now and go get the same shit. For all you guys out there looking for a good woman, I'm going to bust your bubble. Boop. And yes, it's that easy.
Yeah.
You're out there looking for a good woman. You're going to be out there for a long fucking time. Kind of like Moses. Unlike Moses, we don't need 10 commandments. We only need 5 for this problem. And here they are, up on the screen, the 5 things we look for in a good woman. Looking good. Well-mannered. Responsible. Wait a minute. That's on the list?
Yes.
Oh, fuck. Self-sufficient. And last but not least, useful. Listen, looking good is first on the list, and it's also the first to go. And if you're putting up with her shit because she looks good, sooner or later, those looks will be gone, and so will you. And that makes the last 4 things even more important. If you find a beautiful woman, I'm talking a high 8, and she has the other 4 attributes, just get down and worship.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
If that's true, you found the unicorn in a field of sloths and buffaloes, and maybe a few rhinos. Rhinos? They're just unicorns that let themselves go. Maybe she's not a hard 8 or higher, but she's fairly attractive, and she has the other 4 attributes. And if she has a good sense of humor, you're a lucky man. Hold on to that shit. You kiss her ass and then eat the box it comes in. That is the dream. Now we're going to talk about reality. Instead of the unicorn, you get a fat, hairy, blue-haired beast. Watch out, Walmart. Not only is she fat, but she expects you to be attracted to her. And if you're not, you're a sexist. Never mind the fact that most fat women refuse to date fat men. And why? It's called preferences. But women are the only ones allowed to have those.
I cannot believe this shit.
But in this particular instance, I completely understand. Because if you have 2 fat people, there's no way they could bump uglies. There is no dick to vagina contact. It's not going to happen. And with that, I need to wash the vomit out of my mouth. Did you guys notice what I just did there? It's called a sip, and it's conducive to good manners. It doesn't really take much to be well-mannered. You just have to be polite. But most women can't even do that.
I'll take a picture of whoever the fuck I want, because it's a free country. Bitch, you won't fuck nothing up. I'll knock your ass out, dude. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck how ghetto you think you are. I was raised in foster care, bitch!
Being well-mannered is another aspect you want in your unicorn. But in reality, you go on a college campus and try to date these chicks, this is what you're gonna find. You're gonna find a bunch of drinking, fighting, spitting, swearing smokers. But those are just tier 2 chicks. Go down to tier 3. They're using drugs.
Because you're a cunt. And I'm a great cunt.
The Navy called. They want their sailor back. I can't imagine why these fat, hairy wildebeests can't find a good man. Oh, that's right. Most of them don't, and they become liberal feminists.
Anyway!
Ladies, please allow me to mansplain this to you. If I wanted to date a frat bro, I'd be gay. But I can't do that because I already took it in the ass in divorce court. No! 30% of my income? But that brings back bad memories. I wasn't really gagging. That's just the tip of my wife's metaphorical cock. It's been almost 10 years, and that thing still pops out. I'm getting fucked every day.
That's pathetic, man. Is that what you want to do with your life? Suck down peppermint schnapps and try to call Morocco at 2 in the morning? That's senseless. But that's what happens, man.
So, dudes, you get married more than once? Here's an imitation. More cock! That's right, you're the hub of the dick salad, figuratively. I'm not gonna slap you down for getting married. Everyone can be a sucker once. It happened to me.
Marriage is stupid.
But if you get married 2, 3, 4, and sometimes 5 times, That's just flat out irresponsible, and what the fuck are you thinking? Clever segue that leads us right to unicorn attribute number 3, responsible. And this is the hardest one to find. It doesn't really take that much to be responsible. Own your mistakes and learn from them. What you wind up finding is a bunch of permanent victims who blame everyone else for the problems. Spoiler alert, that is not responsibility. Suck it, Space Ghost. Neither is having a kid out of wedlock, and yes, I do not feel sorry for you. And why? You probably failed the dick stacking test on your way to conceiving that child. And you might have tripped over a couple spare cocks on the way. Oh, that's right, I forgot. Blowjobs and ass fucking, they don't count. And remember, ladies, every dude you bang named Richard, that's just dick squared.
You used to call me anal girl.
So let's just say she's not a single mother. She's divorced with kids, which in my opinion is even worse. At one time, there was a dude willing to stand up in front of all of his friends, paid an assload of money, and swore to take care of this woman for the rest of his life. But apparently, she is such an entitled cunt. Sounds refreshing, but it isn't. He was willing to take divorce court cock balls deep just to not be around her anymore.
Chad Swagger is probably the crudest and most self-involved bro in America. It doesn't matter if she's a 5 or a 10, he'll take anything. This book of fucked up sexcapades will make you laugh until your kidneys bruise and make you cringe harder than you've ever cringed before. The link is in the description.
Even though she's getting alimony, child support, and welfare, she's gonna look you in the eye and say she's self-sufficient. Bullshit. These strong, independent women, they don't even know what the fuck that means. Because in their mind, it's living in debt. They abuse their credit cards. Hell, some of them even still live with their parents. And they don't have a car, but they still have their looks. For now. She's gonna use those looks and rope you in to give you the best sex ever. And while you're still dick thinking, she's gonna introduce you to her kids. All the while, she's hoping that you will develop an attachment to these children. And once you do, you better believe it, you just set your own death trap. Because, and mind you, this is the best case scenario. She's gonna use those kids to keep you around. Worst case scenario, you slip one by the goalie. And this happens in one of two ways. The first one, which is probably the most common, she pulls the goalie and doesn't even tell you. Option number 2, she actually talks you into doing it willingly. Idiot.
Having a baby, huge mistake.
Listen, I know you're dick thinking, but what the fuck? I don't care if she sits on you and does a helicopter. No one should be able to talk you into doing this out of wedlock. You might as well just walk into Walmart to the meat counter, put your Franken beans on there, and tell the dude just take them. Because clearly, they're not doing you any good anyway. Because if they were doing you any good, they'd be useful. Clever segue. Unicorn attribute number 5. Useful. Yeah, right. I know, it sounds a little hinky, but bear with me, gentlemen. Specific example that could happen to anybody. She's driving down the road, hits a nail, and boom, blows a tire. If you have a woman that can get out of the car and change her own goddamn tire herself, winning.
Oh, fuck yes.
Most of them, they'll call AAA. Or you. And why is that? Because they say it, but they're not fucking useful.
Keep your anti-feminism to yourself. Ow.
So you find a woman who actually is useful. She can change a tire, start a barbecue, clean out her own gutters. Winning. Hey, somebody's gotta win the lotto, but most of us don't. But that's not gonna stop most of you from wasting your money on selfish, entitled, combative bitches. And not to mention my favorite, lazy or sloth. Check it out. I know most of the women out there are going to say they're not lazy, but a majority of you are fat. So one feeds on the other, you take a guess. I know what you've been feasting on, ho-hos and ding-dongs. That's probably where the cream on your lip came from. Screen 5. Let's face it, if you're fat, down the road, you're one big fat liability, because that shit gets expensive when your body fails, and no amount of body pride and fat acceptance is going to save you from that. So hey, do yourself a favor and take that poisonous feminism, put it in a king dong, and eat it. That's right, jam that right in your cake hole with the rest of the shit you eat. And make sure you swallow like a good little roly-poly bitch.
Pop, don't let it go. X gon' give it to ya. He gon' give it to ya. X gon' give it to ya.
This goes without saying, most of the women that you run into in the real world are not going to have those 5 things. Let's face it, you get 2 out of 5, you're lucky. A majority of these women, they're temporary. They're kind of like the bags the peanuts come in on an airplane. You open it up, you see how many nuts have been bouncing around in there. Little salty, throw it away.
Men should grow up.
Yeah, a dog should stop licking themselves. It's not gonna happen.
If you're gonna keep one of these women around you and have her enjoy your salty taste once in a while, she better be a solid 8. She would have to be for you to put up with the rest of this goddamn bullshit. And if you do keep her around, make sure she puts out, and puts out quickly. Just saying.
The only reason to wait a month for sex is if the girl is 17 years, 11 months old.
And another rule of thumb, too many tattoos equals, you guessed it, temporary. I'm not talking about the onesie, twosie tattoos out there. That's nothing. But if she has a sleeve or it covers her entire back, you know it's temporary. Because you know what that tells me? Daddy issues. And those are a pain in the ass. They're fun in the short term, but in the long term, you can die. And set you on fire in your bed and shit.
Go ahead and go to sleep, motherfucker. Oh, I'm fine. Go to sleep.
Fuck that. I'm out of here.
Never date a girl with a hook for a hand.
So when you see the list of 5 things that men are looking for, and what's actually out in the real world, is it any surprise that men aren't getting married anymore? Women piss and moan all the time about there is no good men out there. Newsflash, there are good men out there, and it would behoove you to give them the time of day. But instead, you wait around for every dude to come up and talk to you. Instead of waiting around for all these guys to come over and talk to you, why don't you take initiative and go talk to them? Because when you dig your heels in and you stand there like a bitch, you know who's going to come talk to you? Dicks. And then what do we hear all the time?
Men are assholes.
If feminism didn't criminalize flirting, maybe you'd have more good men talking to you. Instead, you entitled bitches, made these men afraid to come up and talk to you. It's pretty much all your fault, and you should take responsibility for it. Because if you did, at least you'd have one thing on this fucking list. Here's a secret, ladies. Instead of acting like a frat bro, why don't you act like a good woman? There's a lot of good dudes out there, solid dudes, who will jump through their ass for a good woman.
For every 3 10s you bang, throw a bone to a 5.
So, ladies, I can't really drive the nail home hard enough and nail you. But while we're at it, please hit the subscribe and the bell. And check out our Patreon and PayPal and send us a couple bucks so we keep doing this. Because if you don't, there are no good men out there. These 5 things are quite vague, but you'll need them after the pussy wears out. I'm serious. After a year and a half of hitting the same pussy, she better be fucking useful. The English naming convention, where William becomes Bill and Richard becomes Dick.
That's like a dick compounded. That's dick squared in your mouth.
Wow! I like that. I'm gonna write that down.